You know what's crazy? We're more connected, more informed, and more entertained than ever before. Yet somehow, for some reason, more of us feel a lot more distracted, drained, and even a little bit more lost. And it's not because we're lazy, it's because we're up against something we were never taught to fight. And I'm talking about addiction. And not just to substances here, but to stimulation itself. And this is the modern struggle. And it's eating away at our peace, our focus, and even our potential. So let's rewind the clocks a little bit. Let's go back a few hundred years. Back in the day, life used to be tribal. You had your people, your roots, a shared rhythm of life. And sure, it had its own challenges like any other era, but the point is, you weren't alone. But now, compare now. We live in boxes stacked on top of each other. Some might say freedom, independence. Absolutely, that's there. But there's a lot of disconnection as well. We don't have villages like they used to before. And in many instances, we don't have family nearby as well. Just you, your phone, and a feed that never ends. And in this isolated world, you're not fighting for food or safety anymore. You're fighting for your mind. And that got me thinking about the rise of targeted stimulation. And that's when I came across Dr. Anna Lembke. She's a renowned American psychiatrist, and she has a great book called The Dopamine Nation. And she's also the chief of the Stanford Addiction Medicine Dual Diagnosis Clinic at Stanford University. And I think she's a professor as well. Anyway, in her book, Dopamine Nation, she puts it perfectly that social media has essentially drugified human connection. Likes, shares, comments, and these tiny digital hits of dopamine, and they feel good. So good, in fact, sometimes that your brain starts to crave them just like it craves sugar, caffeine, or even alcohol. And the reason this craving is so strong comes down to four key factors, she says. The first one is access. It's all in our pocket, all the time. You don't even need to leave your house, do you? You don't need to leave your bed. It's available 24/7, and every spare moment becomes a chance to reach out for that little hit on this guy. And that ease is what makes it so dangerous. You never have to wait. The second factor is quantity. The scrolling never ends, literally. There's so much content. You're not just consuming a story or a conversation, you're stepping in an infinite loop of content. And that means that there's no built-in stop signal. So you don't finish Instagram or you don't complete Twitter. We just fall into them and then hours pass. It's pretty wild to think of that. The third factor is potency. Platforms don't just give you one thing, they give you everything at once: attractiveness, humor, controversy, music, gossip, movement, any little thing, all designed to trigger your nervous system. And it's a super stimulus if you think of it, a condensed version of reality that's engineered to hit all your pleasure centers at the same time. And your brain can't compete with that naturally, could it? And the fourth factor, she says, is novelty. Your brain loves the idea of new things, new faces, new jokes, new drama. And every swipe, every scroll, every next video is a dopamine lottery. You don't know what's coming, and that unpredictability makes you come back for more. It's the same psychology that drives on slot machines, except it's in your hand. So this combination of accessibility, infinite supply, overstimulation, and unpredictability is exactly why so many of us feel exhausted without ever doing anything wrong. It's not about willpower, but it's more about awareness. So you can take back the wheel and control that. So you're not broken. You're just up against a system designed to keep you hooked. And the longer you let it happen, the more your time, energy, and mind become someone else's product. So let's zoom in on what this addiction actually robs us of. And Arthur Brooks, who I've quoted in the dating apps episode that just recently was published, he's a behavioral scientist who teaches behavioral science at Harvard Business School. And he said, we don't get past the storefront anymore. And he alluded to dating apps where we just scroll through faces. But on Instagram, we scroll through lifestyles. It's like window shopping for connection, but never actually walking into the store. So we swipe on people, conversations, even identities, and because it all feels fast and easy, we lose that depth, the discomfort, and the realness that makes life, well, life. And we've mistaken stimulation for meaning. Stimulation is not meaning. They are not the same. But then here's the problem. When dopamine spikes too often, your brain doesn't reward you more. Instead, it actually just adapts. It gets more numb and it starts needing more to feel the same. And Dr. Lemke calls this the dopamine deficit state. And that's why you may realize you sometimes feel low after doom scrolling, or you binge Netflix and then still feel very empty. And for me, sometimes I check my phone and Instagram has just refreshed all the content and the same stuff keeps popping up because I've just run out of content to an extent. And I feel a little bit more worse than before. So what we end up doing is we're doing more and enjoying it less. And we are constantly full, but we never feel nourished. So dopamine isn't the enemy, but mindless dopamine is. If you don't control your cravings, they'll quietly start controlling you. Similar to diet as well. So the question is, what do you do? What can we do? Because this is the modern struggle, and we are constantly outmatched by tools that were designed to outsmart our brains. And the answer isn't becoming a monk or deleting every single app or chucking your phone out of the balcony. It's practicing resistance. Not all the time, just often enough to remember that you, my friend, are in control. So delay that scroll, turn off autoplay, walk without your phone. Literally go out for a walk without a device. See how that changes things. Spend time bored on purpose. And each time that you do one of these, you're training a part of your brain, of your mind that says, I choose. And that's not a weakness, that's real power right there. So the world isn't going to get less addictive. That's not pessimism, that's reality. But you can get more intentional. You can pause, reflect, and choose. And you can reclaim your mental freedom, one decision at a time. Because in this world, resisting the easy thing is often the wisest thing. And that's what I'm realizing more and more often. And real freedom isn't doing whatever you want, it's choosing what actually serves you, not just what stimulates you.